let's take a moment to understand why solar energy is such a hot topic today, not just for homes but for entire nations. The root reason is climate change, which is long term shifts in global temperatures and weather patterns. And unlike natural cycles in the past, this change is largely driven by human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. These fuels release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere. These gases act like a blanket. They trap heat, warm the planet, and eventually leading to rising global temperatures, melting glaciers, which is causing rising sea levels, heat waves, floods, and droughts becoming more frequent and severe. To stop this damage, the world came together in December 2015 at the historic COP21 conference in Paris, where 196 countries signed the Paris Agreement, an international treaty with one major goal. COP stands for Conference of the Parties. It is the supreme decision making body of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. It brings together representatives from almost every country in the world to discuss and negotiate global action on climate change. COP meetings are held annually. The first COP was held in 1995 in Berlin, Germany. The most famous COP is COP21, where the Paris Agreement was adopted. Countries agreed to work together to keep global warming well below 2 degrees centigrade and ideally limit it to 1.5 degrees centigrade compared to the pre-industrial era. And what is pre-industrial era? It is the time before factories, machines and mass burning of coal. Roughly the years between 1850 to 1900. At that time, Earth's average surface temperature was around 13.7 degrees centigrade. Today, we are already about plus 1.2 to plus 1.45 degrees centigrade above that. So when we say limit warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, it means we have only a narrow window left to act. And this is where the term net zero becomes critical. Net zero means we must balance the amount of greenhouse gases we emit with the amount we remove through clean energy, reforestation, and new technologies like carbon capture. Many countries like UK, Singapore, India, European Union, and Japan have promised to reach net zero by 2050 or 2070. To meet this goal, they are using more clean energy, and solar power is the cheapest and easiest to use. Instead of building big solar farms, rooftop solar is a better option because anyone with a roof can install it. That's why governments are promoting it more. And this gives a strong reason to start rooftop solar projects and build a solid business case. I have been living in Singapore since 2011, and in recent years, I have seen a sharp rise in rooftop solar installations. Can you see rooftops in the background? Almost all of them are covered with solar panels. It's clear that the city is embracing clean energy more than ever before. Even in India, there has been a clear change. More and more individual homes now have rooftop solar panels. Whether in big cities or small towns, many families are choosing solar energy as an affordable and eco friendly way to power their homes. Singapore's SolarNova program. SolarNova is a major solar program started by the Singapore government in 2014. It was led by EDB, Economic Development Board, and HDB, Housing and Development Board, in partnership. Its goal is to install solar panels on public buildings like HDB flats, schools, government offices, and military camps across Singapore. If we talk about Singapore's solar target, country wants to reach 2000 megawatt or 2 gigawatt of solar energy by 2030. which will be enough to power about 350,000 homes. Out of 2000 megawatt, 540 megawatt will come from installing solar panels on around 10,000 HDB block rooftops, which are residential buildings. And for remaining target, 200 to 300 megawatt capacity panels will be installed on public buildings like schools, hospitals and government offices, military camps. Approximate 600 to 800 megawatt panels will be installed on private rooftops like offices, malls, factories, and 100 to 200 megawatt panels will be installed as floating solar farms on reservoirs. And remaining 100 megawatt will be installed at offshore islands like Pulau Ubin. If we talk about current progress, as of mid 2025, Singapore has already installed about 1.54 gigawatt of solar capacity, which means the country has achieved 77% of its 2030 solar goals. Looking into current achievement, Singapore is making great progress in using solar power, and SolarNova is taking the lead with HDB rooftop panels, and other efforts include floating solar system, private buildings and smart island based setups. Now, let's take a quick journey through India's remarkable progress in solar energy, step by step. Journey began in January 2010. The Indian government launched the Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission JNNSM, targeting 20 gigawatt of solar power by 2022. This was our first big step to becoming energy independent through clean energy. When the new government came under PM Modi's leadership in 2014, the ambition grew. The solar target was revised from 20 gigawatt to 100 gigawatt by 2022, in which 60 gigawatt was targeted from solar plants and 40 gigawatt from rooftop solar. This set the stage for massive adoption across the country. In 2016, the government launched the PM Kusum scheme, which stands for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan, to bring solar energy to farmers, helping them run irrigation pumps using solar power instead of diesel or grid electricity. PM Kusum empowered farmers with clean energy, lower cost, reliable irrigation, and new income sources, making agriculture more resilient, profitable, and sustainable. In October 2018, PM Modi introduced a bold and forward looking concept at the International Solar Alliance Assembly, the concept called OSOVOG, which stands for One Sun, One World, One Grid. The idea is simple but very powerful. Since the sun is always shining somewhere in the world, why not create a global network or solar power that can be shared across countries and continents? This way, solar electricity generated in one region, like India or the Middle East, can be transmitted to other regions where it might be night or cloudy, ensuring clean energy is always available. In May 2021, at the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow, the United Kingdom joined in this mission through something called the Green Grids Initiative (GGI). Now, the two ideas, India's OSOVOG and UK's GGI, have come together as a single global movement called GGI OSOVOG. It is now backed by around 140 countries, and many of them from Africa, Asia, and small island nations, who are eager to adopt clean energy but need the right infrastructure and support. In year 2021, India has set one of the most ambitious clean energy goals in the world. By the year 2030, the country aims to install a massive 500 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity. And out of this, a major chunk, 300 gigawatt, is expected to come just from solar power. On 13 February 2024, PM Modi launched a groundbreaking initiative, the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. This is India's largest residential rooftop solar scheme and a big step toward energy independence for every household. This scheme aimed at empowering ordinary Indian household to install solar panels on their rooftop so they can generate their own electricity at home, reduce or eliminate electricity bills, and sell excess power back to the grid. And the best part, it is heavily subsidized and virtually free for the end user, especially for low and middle income families. The subsidy as per this scheme is, if you install a 1 kilowatt system, you get INR 30,000 as subsidy. For 2 kilowatt system, you receive INR 60,000. For a 3 kilowatt system, you get 60,000 for the first 2 kilowatt, and 40% means INR 20,000 for the third kilowatt. So total become 80,000. But the subsidy is limited to INR 78,000. And even if you install a 4 kilowatt or larger system, you will still get the subsidy of INR 78,000. That's the maximum limit under this scheme. Where do we stand now? India has installed over 116.24 gigawatt of solar power till 30th June 2025 as per Ministry of New and Renewable Energy website, in which 89.29 gigawatt is coming from ground mounted solar plant, 18.84 is coming from grid connected solar rooftop, and 3.06 is coming from hybrid projects, and 5.05 gigawatt is coming from off grid solar. India is now aiming its rooftop target to 25 to 30 gigawatt by 2027, and in which we already achieved 18.84 gigawatt. So we can say we are on track. So in just over a decade, India has grown from 0 to 100 plus gigawatt of solar capacity. Appreciation goes to smart policies, strong leadership, and citizen participation. And the PM Surya Ghar scheme is now the face of India's rooftop solar revolution.